So we've seen how the instruments are all hooked up and all the rest of the things, and now we're going to take a look at how, because you've got a really interesting Logic setup. If you saw the video that we did before with Yoad, which was to do with how we set the Beat Step Pro up, and using the Logic environment. I mean, you've taken the use of Logic environment to like the next level.
Yeah, I've been using the Logic environment for ages, and it hasn't changed for ages, including all the bugs, which. Yeah, during this whole setup journey, we've encountered quite a few bugs and had to find ways to work around them.
But you use it to control all of these synths, via SysX, via controller.
So all the synthesizers that are capable of receiving controller SysX data are spoken for, basically.
Right.
So that leaves out the Minimoog and the SH, the MS1, the 303, the Mini Brute, but the rest of them are all controlled by
So
MIDI.
you create custom Logic environments that allow you to essentially from this point here, control all the parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got to have a look at this, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Right, so we're sat. This is mission control. This is where you are. I mean, it's really interesting the way you've got this set up. So I mean, of all this, essentially, you've got your keyboard. You've got this. This is.
Out of all these keyboards,
that's what
90% of the time I just use this one because it's just here. I used to work on big mixers for ages where you had a little trolley here for the computer keyboard and the mouse, and you used to do this and that all the time and another. So for me, it's really important to have everything right here. I do like this thing.
Oh yeah,
which
that's
enables
right.
which enables you to control.
Is that whatever the mouse
plugins.
is over?
Yeah. So basically, whatever the mouse is hovering.
It's very steampunk, isn't it?
Yeah, you can just do that, and you can undo. So if you double click, it will undo, which is really nice.
all geared to kind of just being able to be, because I mean the thing is, it's a big room. If you had to get up and go over there every time you go, that's not quite right. That's not right. So the idea behind this system is that you get a central point of control.
Yeah,
right?
but even with plugins, it's really, instead of having a dedicated controller and then you have to look here for what parameter you're moving
and
here.
map it.
So here you're just hovering and above it and changing it, and this is really nice. I really like that. It's a little bit pricey, but I use it.
You use it a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So take me through. So these you have the legendarily large template, sir, if I may say so.
So I'm just going to show a little part of it, which relates to controlling all the instruments, all the synths, all the hardware synths via MIDI using this controller. Basically, what we have here is we have an environment here which. Basically, the first thing I do is I select which synth I want to operate, and that routes the signal from the controller or from any other controller
to the MIDI port.
Straight to, no, it's all internal because Logic cannot handle the data needed in order to process all the synths I have. I have about 13 different ones.
Okay.
So that I can control. So I need to first tell Logic which one I'm going to control, and I do it via this controller here.
And you've got the readout there. Okay.
Yeah. So let's select the Polaris.
Oh yeah, because earlier you said we've got to hear it, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. So basically, now I'm controlling the Polaris, and I need to go to the page where it shows me the Polaris. And I need to go to the preset. It shows me it's preset 9. So here I'm on preset number 9. And then it allows me to control the Polaris.
Right, so you got. And do you try and map these roughly consistency?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is a modded rotary BCR. So you've cut it in half and.
Yeah. And I put actually these are the virus panels.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's so basically, So here you see the layout of the actual BCR. So here you have the 4 pages. So here you have 4 pages. So each row represents 1 page. of these
okay.
knobs and switches. So,
those are all
and then here I have the filter controllers, so filter, cutoff resonance, filter, envelope amount, and keyboard tracking. So this is global for all the synths, and I can either do it from here,
So using the mouse
or
That's quite smooth, isn't it? Because I mean, look, some of these synths are quite old, and is that taking SysX or is that?
That's a controller for
All right, so that's probably a little.
But the sound is quite nice. Filter.
You played a really low note on it earlier, and it was just. Nice bit of pulse width. That's got a.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about this system. I mean, most people don't get to hear just how good synth A is over synth B on a set of speakers like this. So you kind of know, it's like, yeah, when that sounds good, that sounds good.
Yeah, and when you know it, you can really select the type of sound you want for each part or
the space it needs to
something like that.
yeah.
But this one.
So that's the Polaris. I mean, are there other synthesizers?
Yeah.
that
So
are...
basically, in the same way I control this, I can control other synths. So if I want to, let's say we want to play the Poly 6. So now I will go. Let's bring it down a bit. So now I will go to the Poly 6 page. I will make sure that here I'm actually controlling the Poly 6. Yeah. So that's the Poly 6. So this has very little parameters, not too many at all.
And is this SysX or controller as well?
That's controller.
Okay, so again, quite smooth.
But here I can. So this has a single envelope. But it's a really nice one.
Right, again, so I mean, you can flip presets and then you can input the part into.
Yeah, so if I want to record something, let's say.
Right, and then. Or by the same token, you could change the synth that's playing on if you sort of think, actually, I need something that's got, a bit more X or Y, right?
You can hear the timing when I.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these old synths, they can't handle getting note data and controller data at the same time.
But then if I want to use.
It's an interesting tuning choice.
Yeah, so that's that. So this is quite a simple one, but if I want to go to. Okay, let's stop that. And now. Sorry, I need to stop the arpeggiator, which sometimes triggers off randomly. So this is a more sophisticated one, which spans over, So I do the same thing. I go to the micro
program. So when you're changing programs in here, there are controller assignments and SysX assignments or whatever that have been pre-programmed into the BCR. Is that right? Okay.
Sorry, I need to make it stop. So, comes with the territory. So basically, that's the arpeggiator. So that's quite a much more sophisticated one, which spans over 3 programs. So I go to 22. Now it has 2 filters, so I need.
It sounds like the MIDI's a lot more temperamental on this one. So
it is.
And is that because it's controller or because it's SysX on that guy? It must be SysX with that many.
Yeah.
So again, SysX is even worse in terms of
timing. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you have to sort of get the sound right first, then record it.
Kind of. Sometimes you can program stuff to do.
So this is the Microwave XT, right?
Yeah. The sound of it is, especially considering the fact that it was made in like mid-90s or something like that. I just love it. It's quite digital sounding, but there's something which is quite
thunk.
Yeah.
It's got gravitas.
And that's a classic wavetable.
Yeah, it does sound good in here. And this is all dry as well. We're not hearing any kind of any effects on this, you know. So,
Well, it has some effects on
but
it.
not externally, not what you maybe process in a mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. So all of the, I mean, this is all kind of handling MIDI data. So the way that you've got this set up, I mean, Logic can handle all of that stuff. I mean, in any DAW, there's this level of complexity is starting. It's really pushing the boundaries to a degree.
I mean, it's only MIDI data. So if you compare it to all the other stuff that the DAW has to run, basically audio and just running one plugin of like an EQ is 10 times more than all this.
But that depends on whether whether at a code level they've given it asset priority, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that it sends out MIDI data which has to go through all the different converters, and that's why you have some glitches when you turn the knobs and stuff like that. So, like I said, it's better to get the sound first. But this is a really nice, really nice sounds, because here I'm not using the cutoff here. Yeah, so if I use, so basically once
Well, do you have it where you want?
yeah, you can it's quite, and since all the this is mapped the same way as much as possible for all the synths, it kind of all makes sense. So this is the filter envelope.
So your muscle memory is
exactly.
easy to it's this stuff that's going to be the sort of the ever-changing.
Well, still,
parameters.
this is the tuning.
Right. Okay.
And where applicable, this would be either pulse width or shape or things like that, you know. So it kind of makes sense.
So this is did you personally do all of this, or did you?
Well, I designed it, and Keith Holmes, which used to be my assistant at the time, he did all the hard work. He did an amazing job, and here we even have it all laid out in terms. So you can see where everything is, and you can read.
Wow, so it's got a help system built in as well.
Yeah,
that's really meta. I mean, I know you're a software developer. Is that the kind of is that the completist in you that at work there, or was that Keith?
Kind of. Even though I have to say that MIDI is so temperamental, and I find it behaving weird within Logic, and then when it goes out,
when it leaves the building,
it behaves weird in different ways.
I mean, it's interesting because I'm a real advocate of Logic, of MIDI. I use MIDI all over the place. I think it's a brilliant system, but I'm not pushing it as far as you are. I mean, in terms of where can it go that would make all of this work for you, that wouldn't break everything at the same time?
I think you have to. It comes with the territory. When you use old synths like that, and you try to teach them new tricks, basically, it doesn't work 100% of the times. But when you get a sound and you tweak it, and then, I mean, it's still 10 times easier doing it here than having to go to the synth, to the actual synth.
Particularly if it's something like that's like a parameter access synth. It's not like you've got much more immediacy.
I have to say that I do use MIDI Quest, which I really like as well.
That's a librarian.
That's a librarian editor, so I can do all that through MIDI Quest. But I find that having it all hands-on is something that
and then
really
presumably
like.
When you're there, you just print to audio. You're not kind of bothered about saving
audio
presets.
Because also the fact is that when I press a key, all the synths trigger at the same time. All the modular, all the everything, the whole room kind of.
So how many oscillator sync have you ever tried to do in this room? Just go, right, let's get all the oscillators tuned up and just go, and here's 128 oscillators.
Actually, I never tried it, but it's
Yoad,
a good...
come on.
Yeah, I need to find a time of day to do that, but maybe that's an interesting challenge.
It's really fascinating. I mean, and this is, it's workflow to an extreme level, but because you essentially got a fixed amount of space for all this to happen in. I mean, what happens when there's something that would do the controlling maybe a little bit better than what you've already got? Do you kind of think, oh yeah, I could get another octave keyboard, or there might be another controller? I mean, how far would you change this setup?
I do change these occasionally, but this one has 2.5 octaves. Right. That's why I use it. It's I don't
know what make it is. It's an Akai.
No, it's not MIDI Sport, the M Audio.
M Audio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one has 2.5 octaves, and it fits here perfectly. So, yeah, I used to have a big keyboard with kind of semi-weighted keys, but now I like the beat step as well present here because it allows me to change drums.
I thoroughly recommend, guys, if you haven't seen it, I did a great video on how to set that up within Logic. And I mean, you could do the same sort of thing in other DAWs too, but it means that essentially you can record a drum pattern and then switch out the sounds in real time until you found a combination that you like. So do check that out.
For me, like, I sit here all day in this position and being able to control everything from this space. I do like, occasionally going to the politics
that's
and
the thing.
doing
I mean, isn't there? People always say, that having a physical relationship with an instrument sometimes it yields different results. But I mean,
but it depends on what you do, because a lot of my productions I seem to kind of produce in context, if it makes sense. So
right.
I produce. Probably everybody does, but I produce something and I listen to it from a mixer's perspective almost.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like dialing in a sound that will work with the rest of the stuff.
Right.
Sometimes I would go to the Prophet to the Rev 2 and start a new. If you start a new beat or something like that, then
when you're in creative mode,
you just get a vibe and you work on
mean.
something, or even in the live room, some guitars and amps and stuff like that. But then once you bring it in here, it's obviously a lot easier to just control everything from here.
And it works with the content. That's fascinating. Yeah, thanks again so much for showing us all this. I hope this has been as enlightening for you guys as it has been for me. Yoad, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you all again some other time.